Hi. Today I'd like to show you how you can use our AI voice agent Grace to make outbound calls triggered automatically from a third-party system. So that could be a third-party system like HubSpot or Stripe triggers an outbound session in GridSpace using a webhook and then making a call to the caller automatically or the customer, whatever the workflow might be. Today we're going to do a use case for when a customer purchases something in Stripe and making an outbound call to the customer straight away to do a feedback survey. I'm just going to jump in straight away to just show you what we're doing today. So here you see I have a Stripe checkout. Just finished my shopping at Smith's Farm Pastries. I'm going to buy 2 boxes of cookies. So I'm just going to finish up my Stripe payment right here. And I'm going to pay. And then soon enough, a workflow will trigger. And then I will get a call from Grace right now. And then I'll answer this and I'll probably have a feedback survey. Yes, hello?
Hi, Sebastian. This is Grace from Smith's Farm Pastry. I just wanted to reach out to say thank you for your purchase with us, and I hope you will enjoy our pastry. We'd love to hear your feedback on how you found the checkout process. Can I ask you a few quick questions on that?
Yeah, sure. I have some time.
How did you find out about us? Through a recommendation from family or a friend, a specific social media, or an ad maybe?
I actually found you on Facebook.
How would you rate the layout of the website on a scale of 1 to 10? Was it easy to find what you wanted?
It was pretty simple, but I had some difficulty finding something, so maybe a 6.
I have that as 6. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
How was the checkout process? On a scale of 1 to 10, how easy was it to finish it?
Well, that was very easy, so a 10.
You said 10, is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
You have any suggestions for us or anything you think we could improve on?
I think maybe just the layout of the website, just make it a bit more simple. But anyways, pretty good.
Thank you so much for your time, Sebastian. As a small thank you, we're sending you a 10% discount code for your next order. Keep an eye on your inbox. We appreciate you helping us make Smith's Farm Pastries the best it can be. Have a sweet day.
We can quickly go over visually what happened here so you can get a sense of the workflow. So what happened here was that I was a customer and I finished out my Stripe checkout. I had bought something. That then triggered something in Stripe. I'm sending a webhook to another system. So what we're going to use today is going to use a system called Make. And Make is a system, kind of a middleware between Stripe and GridSpace, which is going to handle the webhooks. It's quite easy to use. It's simple, that's what we're using today, and it's also free. It has a quite good free limited plan. So it's a simple setup, and I'll show you later how we can do this in Make. So that basically triggered a workflow in Make, basically setting up a webhook, then sending that webhook to GridSpace, which then starting an outbound session. And then when the caller answers, then attaching the caller to that outbound session, and then goes on with the feedback survey. So I'll try to make the setup as simple as possible by making it kind of plug and play for you. So you can start right away by just going into GridSpace, creating a free trial account, and you can create a new playbook. And you can call this whatever you want because it doesn't matter. Because what we're going to do is we're going to upload an already existing playbook we already created right here. I'm going to link this down below in a folder so you can find all the resources we're using here in the description down below. You're going to open your file explorer and upload it. And once you open it from here, you can see that it just loaded in a pre-made playbook that you can immediately use or customize for yourself. This is just set up with Smith's Farm cookies, and it has some customization with like hi customer full name, which is then we get these details from Stripe later. So this is a tag which is being sent from Stripe, so we can make it personalized, like hi Sebastian Schickel. So easily, okay, I just bought something, someone's calling up and make it personalized. And then we ask them, do you have time for the survey? And then we go through the survey, each question. On these, you can customize as much as you want, additional feedback, and then just a goodbye message with some personalization at the end. Thank you, and then goodbye. So you can upload this quite easily, and you find it in the description below. Next, you also need to call flow with a number. So just go into the call flows next, which is the call flow on here in the sidebar. And then you create a new blank call flow. I'm just going to call this Stripe outbound. And then you start by creating you purchase a phone number. And once you purchase the phone number, you then go into adding node. You add a bot node and you add just a bot, and then you add from the list you created. So you also create a bot. If you want to know how to do that, you can just go into bot and then create bots. Go into Grace 101 video, you can find out how to do that. So you select the bot and then the playbook, and then you just end it with hanging up like this. And now, because simple, we set up the call flow and playbook. So now the setup is pretty much done inside GridSpace. Now we're going to go over to Make and show you how we've done this there. So once you're inside Make, you can just you create an account and you go into this dashboard right here, and you go into scenarios and you create a new scenario. Now also you're going to have pre-made scenario for you. I've created, and you can always upload it. So you just, again, in the description below, you can find this. I'm just going to go to more and then going to import blueprint. It's going to be a blueprint for the scenario. I'm just going to go ahead and import it right now. So see here, I have the blueprint imported from my File Explorer, and I'm going to save. And as here, very simple setup. It's just 2 nodes we're going to use for this trigger. So we have here a Stripe inlet, which is going to look for the webhook from Stripe. And we're going to create a webhook right here. So what we need to do here is we're going to create the webhook, and we're going to add a new connection. And the connection type is going to be from a Stripe API key. Now we need to go into our Stripe dashboard. So once we are in our Stripe dashboard, we're going to go to the developer tools down here, and you're going to also put it in test mode, because we don't want to do live payments right now. We just wanted to test this and set it up. So go into test mode right up here. Then we're going to go to API keys, and here you can find your secret key. So you need to reveal that and then paste that into Make. Now, of course, something here also to note about the API key. If you're going to run it live, you're going to turn off test mode and get your real API key. That's, of course, going to use when you're going to use with real customers and real transactions. But in this case, you're going to use just the test key. So once you have pasted this inside here, you can also call it whatever you want. I'm just going to call it V2, and then I'm going to save it. And then also here in the group section, it's important to fill in. You need to then select what kind of event you're looking for. So you're looking for a customer checkout finish, or basically when customer is finishing up a checkout, that's the event you're looking for to trigger this workflow. So basically what you just need to do is you need to search for checkout, then you choose the checkout session completed. That's what you're listening for. And then it's going to be created. It has created, and now you need to also trigger this webhook in Stripe. So you will like to show the address here because we need this address to go then back in Stripe. So copy this. Then once we're back in Stripe, we go to, again, developer tools, and we go to webhooks. Here, we're going to set up this webhook again. So we're going to add an endpoint. Very simple, just paste in that same link you got from Make. And then you're going to here select the event you're looking for. Again, checkout completion. So we search for checkout and checkout session completed. Add the event, and then you just add the endpoint. So now those two kind of are connected. Stripe is, whenever Stripe has a new checkout completed, it's going to send events over to Make. So once you have had the webhook created, you actually want to create a test data to fill in some data in the Make session, because you need data to fill in, the webhook for sending to GridSpace, like the name and phone number. So you need to kind of create that data first in a test. And that's easy to do. You just, once in test mode, you can go into payment links, and you can just create a payment link. This is just a test payment link, won't do anything. And once you kind of gone new and created it, you just copy the URL and go into it and make the payment. So I'm just going to fill this in quickly. So now see, I have filled in the test checkout with taste data. So this is a test card. What you can do is you search for Google, you can search for Stripe test cards. You'll find this is something you can use for testing purposes. So it's not real, it's just going to do some test transaction in Stripe. So once you fill this in, you first need to go back to Make. So important here, you need to save. So you can Control S or click the save button right here to save your scenario. That's important because Make doesn't autosave. You need to save it. And then you need to run it once. And then it will be triggered. So you click here immediately as data arrives. So now we're just waiting for data from Stripe. And then you go back into the payment checkout and you will then do the payment. Payment is done. And now if you go back to make, you should see here that yes, the data was actually filled in. We received data here. So now we have a lot of example data. You see here, now we have a lot of objects we can look for. We can use the phone number, we can use the name, etc. So next we're going to go into the HTTP connector, see if we've got an error here because we haven't set it up yet, but we're coming to this now. So we go into the connector. This is the node that's going to send out the webhook to Gridspace, and it's going to send it to this endpoint, which is like an outbound session. You can find this in the Gridspace docs. We're also going to link that endpoint down below so you can see how it works for yourself, but you don't need to look into it too much because I've already tried to set this up here for you. So you go into it's a post method, you're posting something to Gridspace. We have JSON, and then here is the kind of the content of what you're sending. Now, what you need to do is you need to fill in some things. It's pretty much set up, but you just need to do a little bit of setup. So here you have you're requesting a webhook to a session or a call flow. So what you'd like to do is you need to find the ID of your inlet node in the call flow we just created. So they're going to paste in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to Gridspace. And once back in Gridspace, we're going to go to applications. And you'll probably see since you just created it, it'll be the first node right here. You can reference it with phone number. And then you just go into it and you're going to copy the ID. And the ID of the inlet is going to be this here, right here, the end code right here. So you're going to copy that. And you're going to go in and you're going to copy it in right here. So now you have that copied in. And then you have the rest here is pretty much set up. What we're doing is we're creating some tags. So remember in the playbook, we had a customer full name tag. And that's right here. We are getting the customer details, the name, the customer filled in checkout in here, and we're also getting the phone number. Now, this you don't need to change anything. You can of course change the name, maybe the name if you would like of the tag, but it's not really isn't. It's pretty much set up for you to be ready now to use. Now, of course, the last thing you need now is some authentication to send the webhook to Gridspace, because you need to authenticate yourself when you're sending the webhook. So that you're using a username and password, but I'll show you where you can find that. So it's your account ID and your master API key. So what you do is you go into Gridspace again, and then you go into account info down here in the sidebar. And here you will find, you can see here, we have our account ID and the secret key. Now, of course, this is not something you share with anyone. This is your secret key. This is your main API key for Gridspace. So don't share it publicly. It's for your secret key, very important, but it's okay to share with making this because it keeps it secure. So we then go in and paste this into Make. So from your Gridspace details, your account ID is going to be here. You're just going to paste it in there, with what I just showed you. And then the secret key, secret master key, you're just going to paste in here. Now it should be pretty ready to use. So you can test it now. So how you would test it is you could just run this connector right here, because this is working now. We're getting the event from Stripe. We know this now. We have the connection between Stripe and Make, but now we're going to create a connection between Make and Gridspace. So we're going to run this. So we're going to right click and run this module only. And then we're going to fill in the name here and also the phone number you wanted to call. So for your testing purposes, your own phone number. And then we're going to click OK to test it, and running, and successful. And if it should working now, I should get a call. Yeah, got a call now from Grace. And then the last note about your scenario in Make. So now the scenario is done. We know we have the connection with Stripe. We know now we have the connection with Gridspace and with Make. So everything is working now connection-wise. Now we need to also, of course, turn it on. So it's always on our listening for these events. So what you're going to do now is you're going to go back to your scenarios here. Scenarios, your main page of scenarios. Once you're back here, you're going to make sure that your scenario is on. This is important that this is on, because then if it's off, it's not going to listen to Stripe at all. So it's not going to work. So you need to turn it on, because now it's always constantly listening to the event. So whenever the Stripe checkout. Someone completes it. Stripe triggers, it sends the webhook to make, which just listens. Oh yeah, I got the webhook. Sends it to Gridspace, starts the session, and then finishes the feedback survey or whatever you create for your call flow in Gridspace. So it's something you can actually pretty much set up for your business almost right away. You can go into Gridspace, create a free trial account, and everything is down in the description below. The make scenario, the playbook. I'll also provide the link to the specific endpoint in the docs if you're interested, but you don't need to look at it because everything is pretty much set up for you. So you can have a call flow pretty much ready and set up in about 10 to 20 minutes, or just a bit of setup and tinkering around in Gridspace. Now, of course, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below and answer any questions you have about the flow today there. And then maybe if you would like help with just setting up a flow like this yourself, you can send us a mail at inquiries@gridspace.com directly. I'll answer you there. And also you can go into gridspace.com to check out more demos like this. Okay, thank you for watching.